This is the strongest base in the world. And I mean that literally. It's not one of those horrible clickbaity Fortnite style force you to click huge emoji, dollar bills, big giant red rings enticing a viewer to click on the video. This is the strongest base in the world. Period. So in this video I'm going to show you how to build this unraidable base. I'm going to get 2 pro raiders to attempt to raid this base. And then I'm going to tell you why I think that this is the strongest base in the world. Now, I used to own the title of the strongest base in the world. However, Facepunch required the turrets to start using electricity, making my base more raidable. So this is the triple cave, and a lot of people don't like the triple cave for a number of reasons, but this cave has the ability to withstand up to 400 rockets, depending on how much you want for upkeep. I myself like less upkeep, so in this particular video I'm going to show you how I build my version of this base, which is more roleplayer-y, but still 150 rockets strong. And here we have the #1 reason why people don't like using the triple cave system, the spike pits. Every time I try and jump over this gap, I always end up dying. That's why I don't use this cave. However, a couple of my mates, Bokom, Norks, 3 Feet, Baguette, they showed me that if you actually look at the wall and you walk towards the wall, you can sneak past the cliff on the side. No more falling in the pits, much easier entry. Thanks guys, GG. Another huge advantage of using the triple cave system is that it only has 1 entry point and 1 exit point. There's no separate tunnels, no sideways anything, no rope bucket access. The only entrance to this cave is where we entered on the surface. Initially the beam jump is a little bit tricky, however when you do it a couple of times it is fairly easy to master, even though I'm a bad jumper. A couple of nodes later and some spawnable boxes and you will arrive at the entrance to your cave. Behind this wall over here is going to be cave B. You can see the diagram on the top left of the screen, and that is going to serve as your main base for this build. Cave A is going to serve as your entrance to the cave, and cave C is going to be completely sealed up. Now I'm going to run through the cave system just to give you an idea of the layout, bearing in mind that the diagram on the top left isn't perfectly accurate. I just wanted to give you guys a visual representation so that you understood the basic layout of this cave system. Cave B is probably the largest and best part of the cave, and then I'm going to make my way through to C, and you will see that I arrive back at my destination when I arrived. That way is the exit and entrance to get to the surface, and this is where it stands. Now the entrance and the exit to each one of these caves have a building marker, which means you cannot build within the corridors of the cave. Only the actual caves have a buildable area, meaning cave A, B and C do require their own tool cabinets. If placed correctly, this is a good thing, because if done correctly you can place the tool cabinets in such a way that their privilege overlaps one another, meaning if somebody does get through A and breaks your cabinet, privilege B will take over and they wouldn't be able to grief you or place their own tool cabinet down. Now the idea for this build is quite simple. Cave C is going to be completely blocked off, forcing the raider to enter through a snaking honeycombed A. If he makes his way through A, he'll get to more honeycomb in B, and we'll be building our cave at the exit portion of cave B. We're going to start this build on cave B, and it is by far my favorite cave out of all of them. It has a high even ceiling all the way through, and it's quite a pleasure to live here. Now as I mentioned before, I'm a bit of a role player, so I'm not going to make this base too chatty with super tight triangles and airlocks. I'm going to make it nice and comfortable, and I'm starting off with square foundations. Although if you do want it to be as secure as humanly possible, definitely use triangles, don't use squares, because the triangles just consume more ground space, and more ground space means more barriers. Now I'm not going to tell you how to build your base. This is how I'm going to be building my base, and I'm building this little light bulb shape just to piss people off. The light bulb shape, as I like to describe it, is basically like this. You will arrive at the entrance of the cave and you will land on this middle square. The outer square is going to be a sealed enclosed chamber. When you arrive at the middle chamber, if you choose to go left, you'll end up stuck inside that sealed chamber. If you choose to go right, you'll make it into the base. Basically a screw you, if you will. You're probably wondering why I'm drawing this, but I just had to describe how it worked, and it has nothing to do with me accidentally deleting the footage of me building it. Moving forward at this point, every time I place a foundation down, I'm going to place a wall frame so that I can put a garage door in its place. The garage door's super cheap cost versus its superb level of strength makes it the ideal candidate to use in the space, plus at the same time you can leave them up, making your space feel a lot less cluttered. Would-be raider not wanting to use the high quality metal back or roof decides he's going to choose either left or right. Choosing the decoy door left, 4 garage doors later and you will be down 16 rockets and completely stuck. Choosing to go right, a further 4 garage doors later and you'll end up in the main base's chamber. At this stage of the raid, bearing in mind that cave A is complete, would-be raider would be down 150 rockets on a rocket only raid. On top of our light bulb structure, I'm going to be building a standard honeycomb, basically meaning that if would-be raider decided to go left and became frustrated and decided to rather shoot up, he would shoot straight into more honeycombs. There is no special way to do this. Basically make a standard honeycomb like the outside of your base, except make a honeycomb on top of your light bulb. Meaning the cheapest way to get through the light bulb is through 6 doors. The next part is fairly simple. Fill the entire cave's floor with foundation tiles. I used a mixture of triangle and squares, but fill it up as much as you can, and in the corner of the cave, this little round piece, try and build it up until it is 1 story high. I'm going to continue the foundations until I reach the back of the cave, and I'm going to upgrade it temporarily to stone. However, I do want to eventually turn it to metal so that it can support my second floor, where I'm going to keep my loot. The top floor is going to work exactly like the bottom floor. I'm going to match the top ceiling tiles to the bottom's foundation tiles, leaving a space for a floor frame so that I can add a ladder hatch later. Fill in the remaining ceiling tiles and you'll eventually get to see the scale of how big the space actually is. It's massive. I mean, it's got plenty of space for multiple loot rooms. It depends on how you want to lay it out. I'm going to do a little bit more role player like, so less doors, more fun, but it depends on what you're looking for. As soon as humanly possible, try and get your stone floor foundation upgraded to metal, now that it is supporting your second floor, and if somebody has the resources to get this far in your base, they're going to have no problem taking out the stone. So rather do it metal, because a frustrated raider that's just wasted a lot of rockets, it's not going to like that floor very much. At the entrance to my top floor by the ladder hatch, I'm going to be adding some wall frames so that I can add garage doors. I love doing garage doors because you can keep them up, the base feels open, and we're keeping in the theme of earlier when I made that decoy entrance on the left. I'm going to make more decoys wherever possible. Wherever there's a space, I'm going to try and put in some walls and a garage door so that somebody can waste their resources there rather than getting through my base. At the back of cave B, I'm going to put down a door frame and a door leading to cave C, although I don't think this is particularly necessary. I just don't like the idea of leaving something open like this. In cave C, I'm going to put down a foundation and a campfire just so I can see a little bit better, and then I'm going to start my build on A. Cave A is by far the most important part of this build because it serves as your primary defense and your primary entrance to the space, so it has to be done completely right. Cave A is by far the most important part of this build because it has to be absolutely right. It is your primary defense and it is your only entrance to Cave B. I'm going to be honeycombing right from the entrance to the exit of Cave A. At the entrance to Cave A, I'm going to upgrade the first foundation to metal. I'm going to place a half wall down and then on top of it another half wall. I will break the lower half wall and then I will place a low wall underneath that, creating this little slit over here. I'm going to upgrade both those walls and the side wall to high quality metal. And for the remaining foundations in Cave A, I'm going to upgrade the rest of it to metal. Lovely stuff. Now I'm going to make my way back to the entrance of Cave A and I'm going to take out a wall frame, and with the wall frame I'm going to be placing twig wall frames in a snaking pattern to try and weave a mental path working from the entrance of A to the exit of A. This will be a snaking corridor filled with about 15 garage doors designed to make your raider want to blow their brains out. Once you're happy with the way that your snaking corridor has been mapped out, place walls in the spots where the corridor is not going to be. You obviously need a nice clean path running from the entrance of A to the exit of A so that you can get in and out of your base. Any part that isn't going to be corridor needs to be walled up. Once completed, I'm going to give it one more test run just to make sure that the snaking corridor is 100% working and that I'm happy with it, and then when I'm done I'm going to upgrade everything to metal. I'm then going to place a garage door in every single wall frame that I've placed. This is also a perfect time to add more decoys, so if there's any particular area in the cave that is leading to some kind of a dead end, just place another wall frame, garage door, and suddenly you've got a perfect decoy itching to waste somebody's C4. Now let's discuss the slit little entrance thing that I built earlier. Now in one of the previous videos I built something called the penetrating wall glitch. It works quite simply. All I have to do is place a ladder on the inside of this wall over here, place another ladder on this side, put down a chair, and when I sit down and look at the opposing ladder and press climb, I magically teleport through the wall. This is an exploit, I know. You can place a garage door if you prefer, but this is extremely strong. If I want to get out of my base, I just simply sit down again, look at the opposing ladder, press climb, and then I pop my way out. It is a fantastically strong way, and this particular armored entrance is so strong that most raiders would honestly just give up. Just make sure that when you log off for the night that you pick up the chairs so that nobody else can glitch through the walls for you, whilst remembering that you have building privilege. The raiders cannot put down a chair, and you can. And as a safety mechanism, place a stash on the surface with a couple of ladders and chairs just for safekeeping. Now let us tally the damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. That way leads to my tool cabinet over there, but not to worry, if they were to blow into that tool cabinet, Cave B's building radius will take over and they would not be able to grief me. Next we have to climb up to the top of the snaking corridor that I built earlier. I'm not going to insult you, you guys know standard honeycomb from front to back, so that if they decide to blow up, they're going to blow straight into honeycombing. After building the snaking corridor and the honeycomb top, I look at the tool cabinet and it is a fairly decent amount of upkeep, bearing in mind that for a solo this is going to be a bit difficult to live, but for a duo trio, definitely possible. If the raiders decide to not use the super complicated entrance and try to blow up, they're going to blow straight into sheet metal honeycombing, so they actually have to go through the armored wall. Why did I build the armored wall slit glitch vibe thingy-majig? Well, have a look. $15 rockets to make it through one door is ludicrously expensive, and most people will give up. And finally we are left with Cave C. Cave C is going to be the most simple one. All we have to do is seal it up 100%. I'm not going to insult you guys. Foundation the thing from front to back. Make a solid wall entrance, no doors whatsoever. I'm going to turn them into high quality metal. You can make 2 levels of high quality metal if you want to, and that's 30 rockets strong. If you want a stronger base, you can obviously add more high quality metal. However, don't forget, there obviously has to be some kind of a balance between upkeep and strength, but you can go crazier, like placing high external stone walls. Not exactly the strongest method, however, it is definitely cheap and strong. And then we come to my favorite part of this entire base. You know this little corner here? Yes, it takes electricity, so we're going to put a battery down and I'm going to attach a cable, and I'm going to make my way all the way to the surface while the cable is attached. When I exit the cave, I'm going to go to my left, and just to the northeast of the entrance, if you're facing the cave, you are going to be able to connect the wire just. This is a great opportunity where you can place down some solar panels or a wind turbine, and you can make a farming base on the surface. It is located just northeast or at the 2 o'clock position if you are facing the cave's mouth. And there we have it, fully working electricity inside your cave. This is incredible. Now you can hook up your lights, power your turrets. At the back of the cave, I've decided to make one of those little glitchy door things as well, leading to Cave C. Not necessary, but you know what? Why the heck not? You can see there's another space over here that I can make another decoy, place a wall frame garage door, and potentially waste a would-be raiders C4. At this stage, I just start building my own little rooms all over the show. I've got a furnace room here, got a nice little loot room there. I'm not going for crazy strong. Remember, I said I'm a role player and I like things to look pretty and awesome and spacious. So that's why instead of building big honeycombed areas, I build this. Look how nice that looks. And finally, it is time to teleport in 2 of my patrons. I love these guys so much. I'm spawning them in and I'm going to give them a whole bunch of shit to raid with. 100 rockets, 500 explosive ammo, hazmats, medpens, M249 AKs, flashlights, the works. Let's see how far they get.
Yeah, so
this is probably mostly honeycomb, if not the whole thing is honeycomb, so...
Notice how Norks immediately assumed that this thing is partially or fully honeycombed. If I had 1 wall there, or if I had 50 walls there, no one would know until you take down that wall. Now obviously this is going to take extremely long, so for the parts of the raid that are boring, I'm going to speed it up and lower the volume so that you don't blast your ears out, or click the dislike button.
Okay, I took some damage there, actually. Yeah, I need more bullets. I might need some food.
Yummy! Food!
Eat from the man's bosom! God damn it. God damn it.
Dude, don't worry about these 2 doors over here, they're fake. Just go this way. It's gonna take far too long.
I have to go up and get more rockets.
I still have rockets. Yeah, man.
Oh! Left or right?
I say left. Okay, we got it.
Oh! Oh!
Okay. Careful,
Shit.
careful.
Dude, I don't think it's powered.
Do you want to take that shot? No, it's powered. It's
Oh
powered.
shit. Do we have ladders?
So we got
Here.
Oh!
I'm coming down again.
Fuck.
We need F1 grenades. You're
Okay,
really
I see it.
cocky.
Oh. I'm just throwing one more for security! Uh-oh. Okay, I need another ladder.
Careful, I might. Wait. Oh, wait! It dropped just right down!
Why?
Like, he just dropped his grenade right straight down instead of throwing it.
After the raid, I tallied up their remaining resources and I saw that they came out with 10 rockets and 600 explosive rounds, bearing in mind that I did spawn in a further 1000 rounds for them. So in total, they used 90 rockets and 900 explosive rounds, and that is quite a large amount of resources. Now let's talk about the nitty-gritty. I mentioned that this base is unraidable, and realistically it actually is. This base would be vulnerable on a modded server. However, on a vanilla server, on a populated vanilla server, I feel that this base is going to be completely unraidable, and let me tell you why. When Norks and Gamehead were busy raiding this cave, there's one thing to remember. Raiding takes very, very long. The reload time between firing rockets is a couple of seconds. Not only that, but rockets, explosive rounds, and C4 that are designed to get into areas like this make a hell of a noise. Now, if you're on a vanilla server, that's an expensive raid. If you're on a populated server, that is a risky raid. Now, the fact that you can potentially make 90 rocket explosions and 900 explosive round shot means that for about 30 minutes, the entire map is going to resonate with explosions, and the possibility of not getting counter-raided is almost virtually impossible. Pair that with the fact that when you die, you have to spawn on the surface, so literally a small team coming in behind the raiders will completely wipe them out, and they'll end up fighting to the death and leaving your cave behind. If anyone counters these raiders, I guarantee you that they will kill the raiders, take all of their guns, and hightail it out there. And finally, we come to the psychology of it all. Now, it's very simple to fire 90 rockets and 900 explosive rounds at a random base, considering that I just spawned it in, but to actually farm up that amount of resources on a vanilla server takes about 3 days worth of in real life work. Now imagine taking 3 days worth of progress and firing it at a single base in a single risky raid that's going to last over a half an hour of potential counter raiders. The thought process behind it, no sane person would actually attempt to do something like this. It is just far too risky. I of course mentioned earlier that this is more of a role player style base. I imagine a person that is a sweaty, disgusting Chad would obviously build exactly as I did, except at the back of the base they would just honeycomb with triangles all the way to the back and then make some high quality armored, disgusting bunker base. I of course don't like things like bunker bases, so I just kept it simple and used garage doors, but I've seen some high quality bunkers that are absolutely disgusting. You build one of those bunkers at the back of this base filled with honeycomb, and I can promise you stopping 400 rockets, easy. So what do you think? Do you think this base is the strongest base in the world? Do you think it's a bunch of bullshit? Leave me your thoughts in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you thought this video sucked donkey sausage, please be sure to click on the thumbs down so that I know that I need to do better, Flak. Thank you so much to my beautiful patrons who once again pulled through this December and supported me like absolute champions. Without them, I would have been fucked. My roof, like, completely broke during Christmas, and thanks to the Patreon dudes, I fixed that shit up, you know, easy, quick. Thank you, Patreons. I love you guys so much. Thank you for supporting me in my dream for content creation. If you'd like to join the Patreon squad, follow me on Twitter, follow my desolate Instagram, watch me on that purple streaming service, or join my awesome Discord. Please be sure to click on all of my social links in the video description below. Thank you so much again for watching, and as always, Flak out. I haven't made a video in a month. It's been more than a month. I should do more videos.